Today I'm telling you all how to get everything done at Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood, which kicks off this week. This is how you're going to get through all the haunted houses and see everything that you want to see at this year's HHN. Because if we know anything from the opening weekend of HHN Orlando, it's going to be a busy year in Hollywood. But that's why I'm sharing all my knowledge to you guys from 10 plus years of going to the event in today's video. Hello everyone and welcome back to Exploring Attractions. My name is Scott and you're watching your stop for all things theme park and attraction related. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button with those bell notifications on if you want to see more videos like the one that you're watching right now, and leave this video a like at the end if you enjoy it as well. And as always, you can check out all of our social content, Instagram, X, and TikTok. That is where we post the latest and greatest theme park updates, which can all be found down below in the description. But that's right everyone, it's crazy to say Halloween Horror Nights 2025 is officially this week. It kicks off this Thursday, September 4th, and we are so very excited. Huge shout out to Universal Studios once again for having us out for this year's HHN as media. We always appreciate everything you guys do for us. But you know, regardless of media or not, we keep it real with you guys. We keep it honest with you guys. And we're going to be as honest as we can be with this survival guide, if you will. Your go-to guide for Halloween Horror Nights. Because like we say every year, and I feel like this year means more to what I'm saying than other years in the past, there are going to be a vast majority of you guys going that are brand new to the event. Because the giant properties that the general public has been wanting to see. Five Nights at Freddy's is going to draw a completely new and large audience. Terrifier will also draw a new large audience. Same with the Horrors of the YX6. That's right, even Fallout 2. And the Jason Universe fans, you guys have kind of already been around HHN. So in my survival guides, I kind of like to do a compare and contrast. I kind of like to put different options out there for those who are willing to spend the money to get a premium experience versus the people who are just wanting to go with general admission. Now, is it possible to get everything done general admission? No screamer really, no express, no anything. Yes. However, you're going to have to get there at 7 p.m. and stay all the way till 2 a.m. or sometimes it's 1 a.m. depending on the night that you go. And even then, there's no guarantee just because of how wildly popular the event has gotten over the years. That's why we always recommend the early entry ticket. Now that ticket starts at $15 depending on what day you go. Obviously, if you go on a Saturday, it's going to be a little bit higher in price. I think the highest that I've seen it, at least that I bought it, is 25, but I'm sure it gets up to 30. But yeah, 15 being the lowest. And keep in mind, yes, there are slower nights of the event. However, for the most part, the event is pretty packed all season long. The only night that we saw really empty last year was opening night, actually. And that's because it was upwards of 100 degrees in Southern California and nobody really wanted to get out and walk through a bunch of haunted houses when it was that hot. So the wait times were really tame. However, the weather's looking nice this year, 10 degrees lower, still nicer in California. Now, what this paid early entry gets you is early access into some of the haunted houses. Five Nights at Freddy's most likely being one of them. In years past, they've let you in at 5:30, which is an hour and a half before the event kicks off. And usually whatever's in the sound stage, this year it's Five Nights at Freddy's, that one opens up first, right at 5:30. You're able to queue a little bit earlier, and then you're let into the house at 5:30. And then the rest of the haunted houses in the lower lot kind of have staggered openings. So something like Scarecrow, which is right behind Five Nights at Freddy's, would open at 5:45. Jason Universe would open at 6. The Horrors of the YX6 would open at 6:30. And so on and so forth. Now keep in mind, these are not in any order particularly that I'm saying are guaranteed. That's just going based off of what they were doing last year with the lower lot early entry. And then on top of that, we were able to knock out all the 4 at the bottom and get up to the upper lot before 7 and queue up for the H lot haunted houses. And those H lot haunted houses you can access via the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. The H lot is just what the kind of parking lot that they're in is called. That is where Terrifier and Poltergeist are going to be at. Now usually if we were really on top of it, we can get to those houses by 7. I'm not saying get them done by 7, but we're able to get the 4 done at the bottom depending on how we start. If we start the sound stage, it obviously gives us the advantage. And then like I said, we get up to the upper lot and we still get those early entry to the houses in the H lot, and we get in line for at least one of them by 7 o'clock, giving us an estimated completion time of 6 different haunted houses by like 8 o'clock. And keep in mind, the event's only been officially open for 1 hour. You paying that early early entry ticket gets you an hour and a half early. So while everyone else is only getting in at 7 o'clock and maybe they're just headed down to the lower lot houses, which already have lines in them because remember they're open first to the early entry guest, you're already strolling through Poltergeist as your 6th haunted house. And like I said, that's subject to change depending on the night. Sometimes these houses are extremely popular even during early entry, or sometimes you get caught up waiting for your family or just waiting for members of a group who are too scared to even walk through the event. But if you're on top of it and you're determined to get those houses done as soon as possible, early entry is the way for you. And like I said, that gets you at least 6 houses done by 8 o'clock, 8:30, subject to change because I know people say I didn't have that experience, but this is all subject to change. This is just based on my experience of doing this on a repetitive basis last season. And obviously with Five Nights at Freddy's being 10 times more popular, that may actually change. But yeah, that will help you get as much done as you want. And then obviously you have to wait in the regular lines, but you'll get access to them early before anyone with a general admission ticket gets in. And then that gives you time afterwards once you get those 6 houses done or however many houses you get done during early entry. Kind of relax a little bit and enjoy the scare zones, enjoy the 2 different shows, enjoy the terror tram, maybe grab a drink or a bite to eat before you get into your next line, which could be upwards of an hour long for any of the houses that you haven't done. If you save some of the bigger IPs like Five Nights at Freddy's and Terrifier for say after early entry, well then you may be looking like at a 190-minute wait, and that's not even over exaggerating. The Five Nights at Freddy's haunted house in Orlando was at capacity all weekend long, upwards of 190 minutes. And now keep in mind they have a lot higher capacity for their event, so there's a lot more people coming into their event than Hollywood. But just to give you guys an idea of how busy this year is going to be. So that is always my technique to do it. We get the frequent fear pass and we go multiple times throughout the season, and we'll buy early entry on top of that every night that we decide to go. And it usually works out great for us. We're usually done with most of the haunted houses. I don't want to say we do every single one every time we go. Sometimes we'll do like reruns, like we'll decide to do one of the lower lot houses 3 times in a row or 2 times in a row, however you want to do it during early entry. But usually you're able to get about 6 to 7 run-throughs, and then we kind of call it a night by like 10:30. And that's just because we live far away from the event and we visit so often. Other people like our friends over at Attractions 360 have an even more unique tactic where they go like after midnight and they have like 2 more hours of the event being open, and sometimes the waits are like 30 minutes and they get lucky. They're able just to run through all the different haunted houses. However, like I said, with the big IPs, that'll most likely just not be the case. But really take advantage of that early entry. It is always a hit or miss. I just want to preference that in this video, but usually it has a good success rate. It is looking to be a relatively hot weekend for opening weekend, so if you guys are going on opening weekend, please bring water. Please bring refillable waters. If they're empty, you can bring them into the park, I believe. And then there's various freestyle water stations across the park that you can fill those up. It's really important to stay hydrated, especially you don't even realize it. You may step outside and be like, oh, it's not that bad at all. And then you walk through a couple different haunted houses and you're all of a sudden dripping in sweat and you're having to walk up all these hills and everything. It is extremely important to stay hydrated, especially this opening weekend. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you wanted more of like a premium experience while also guaranteeing you entry into every single haunted house with a little to no wait, well, then there's those options as well in the Express Pass or the Unlimited Express Pass or even the RIP Tour. Now, for people who are going for the first time, they want to get everything done. They want to just do everything that the event has to offer between Terror Tram, between all the houses and the shows, then get yourself a General Express. This grants you one-time access to all the haunted houses at an express line. This Express Pass grants you access to each haunted house and each experience and each show one time. And like I said, if you want to get everything done while also being able to skip the line, this would be the most bang for your buck. If that's what you're worried about, like I said, getting every single thing done. Now, if your goal is to get everything done and then some, like you really want to walk through Five Nights at Freddy's multiple times, or you also want to get everything else done, or maybe you want to hit Terrifier multiple times, they do have the Unlimited Express option where you can go through all the different experiences as many times as you want while skipping the line. It's a really great deal, and honestly it's not that bad of a price for what you get. Like I said, you get unlimited admission into all these different experiences, and I think even some of the rides are included as well, at least the rides that are open during HHN. So yes, the Unlimited Express option is there as well, which also includes your general admission ticket. That's really how I kind of stagger our survival guide on how to do everything. That early entry is a must if you don't want to spend too much money and you still want want to get everything done. And then if you don't want to worry about stressing or anything like that, and you kind of just want to relax and enjoy your first time at the event, then getting a single use express is the way to go. However, if you want unlimited horror, unlimited scares, and unlimited fun, then the unlimited express pass is for you. If you guys have any additional questions, please let us know down below in the comments section. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Or if you have any other tips that are helpful, then leave those down below in the comment section as well. But Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood kicks off this Thursday, September 4th, and we are so excited. We will be there partying up with everyone else, and we're all gonna have a great time. But as for today's video, my name is Scott. You've been watching Exploring Attractions. Positivity is key, and most importantly, remember to keep exploring. Peace out, everybody.